I am loving.
I am fabulous.
I am beautiful.
I am saved.
I am a victor.
I am faithful.
I am devout.
I am accepted.
I am a Christian. I am MCC.
And I am MCC.
I am MCC.
I am MCC.
And I am MCC.
I am MCC. I am MCC.
I am MCC.
I am MCC.
Today's lectionary reading is a well-known story in the Gospel of John. So much so that we have known a particular apostle primarily because of his story and the title given to him, Doubting Thomas. Although I have argued in the past that he was actually not a doubter because a true doubter leaves open the probability of things and searches out the truth. Rather, Thomas was actually Thomas the Certain, or in Tagalog, Thomas na Sigurista. He was so certain that Jesus was dead and he gave what it seemed for him as an impossible challenge. Hanggat hindi ko nakikita ang mga marka ng sugat niya, hanggat hindi ko na ipapasok ang aking daliri sa mga sugat na iyon, hindi ako maniniwala. Today, I want to actually focus on that challenge that he pronounced and given a focus and reading to this story in relations to what we are experiencing today in this global and local pandemic. Perhaps there is something much deeper meaning to what Thomas was saying. We must read between the lines or beyond the lines. We have to consider the human context of the story and imagine it from a very human experience. The disciples of Jesus, especially his inner group of anywhere between 15 to 50 people, lost their beloved leader. To some of them, he's a teacher and a mentor. To others, he was the long-awaited liberator of Israel from Roman occupation. He was an embodiment of their hope. He was a dearly beloved son of his mother, Mary, and eldest brother to his siblings. To his inner group, he was both their trusted leader and dearly loved friend. To others still, he gave them new life, as he accepted them despite being prostituted women, tax collector hated by their own people, and all sorts of sinners and rebels despised and excluded. He was loved, and he loved them. And at that crucial turning point, he was arrested and executed by the Roman authorities and temple leaders of his people. The women disciples witnessed his execution from a distance. They were there during his execution, while the men were in hiding and nowhere to be found. The relevant question here is, what would be your state of mind and emotion if you lost someone you love or look up to? Someone you loved and trusted so dearly and tenderly that you left behind everything and everyone just to be with your beloved. If you lose such a person, what would be your feelings and mental health? Worst, what if he or she died and you were not there by his or her side? What if the last time you were together, you actually denied or rejected your beloved? What if the last thing you did was a betrayal of your beloved trust? Your beloved died without reconciliation or that last goodbye. What would you feel? What would be your state of being? In the face of death of a loved one, the surviving humans feel the sheer pain of loss and overwhelming grief. How much more overwhelming it is given the particular situation and context that they were in as followers of Jesus. It is worsened by feelings of regret, guilt, shame together with fear, anxiety and paranoia that they may be next to die in a few days. But with that painful grief coupled with fear of persecution is also longing. The longing not only to see their beloved Jesus who have died, but to touch him once more. to hold Jesus for the last time, perhaps as a way to make amends or apologize in each of their failings. Thousands of people have already died because of the pandemic, and many of their families and friends are currently experiencing not only the pain of losing a loved one, but also the pain of not being there for them and with them in their last moment. Human touch, after all, is one of the things we take for granted, but one of the most powerful signs of life. To physically feel the skin of another is to know we are alive and to know that they are alive. Physical touch has also been proven to have feelings and comforting effect to people who are physically and or emotionally ill. Friends, families, lovers, parents and their children. Churches and communities are currently separated because of this pandemic. We realize more than ever how vital and essential physical proximity is. While we are thankful for technology for allowing us to be connected virtually, we realize now that it is not the same as being physically together where we can touch, embrace, hold hands and kiss if we wanted to. The greatest fear during this pandemic, and certainly has been the experience of many already, is that you die alone, not being able to touch and be touched by your loved ones in that moment of passing. Nor will your body be allowed to have some days of funeral. Your body will go straight to the fire to be cremated. Many bodies in Italy and even in the US are simply thrown into mass graves with almost no rituals that give dignity to the countless lives lived that have passed on. There are no last goodbyes. We don't even know most of their names. No way to touch, hold, kiss for the last time. Perhaps to a certain extent, this is similar to the experience of the disciples when they were not able to hold him, touch him, and kiss him before he was nailed to the cross. The women were there, but they were standing from a distance and were not allowed to get close. After all, physical touch, even during death, is an expression of life. The last expression of life. To touch and be touched is to be fully alive and to be fully human. Perhaps the declaration of Thomas is so much more than just the stubbornness and certainty to not believe. Perhaps the declaration of Thomas to touch the wound of Jesus is also an expression of his longing to feel and hold this beloved once more. A longing all of us will eventually experience. His desire to touch Jesus' wound is a way to embrace his guilt and shame for running away and abandoning him. Touching Jesus' wound to immerse in his guilt is thereby an act of reconciliation. Maybe there's more to the facade of Thomas's unbelief. Beneath what seemed to be his unwillingness to believe is human heart painfully longing to touch Jesus again. Indeed, this is our Easter hope and our Easter longing. And as expressed by the Queen of the United Kingdom, the hope that we will touch and see each other again. We will touch and embrace again without the fear of a deadly infection. We will have lunch and dinner and coffee together once more, telling stories, laughing and crying. Parents and children embracing. Separated lovers kissing once more. Even protesters who made the government accountable virtually during the quarantine will then hold hands once more and marching the streets with greater vigor and courage, calling even more loudly for a better government, a better society, and a better world. Churches will worship again, both with joyful celebration as well as solemn remembering of those who passed away. We will gather again as a community, as a people, and as a human race. This is our Easter hope. Death throughout this pandemic will not prevail. Separation and isolation will not be the norm. Social distancing will not keep us apart forever. One day, we will leave our tombs and isolation boxes. One day we will hold hands once more. We will touch again like Thomas touching the wounds of the risen Christ. Life and love through hands that touch and hold will persist and prevail. This is our Easter hope, and may it be so for all. Amen.